Welcome to another trading recap. Today is Thursday, August 20th, and today was a really slow day again. We did have SGLY in the morning. I'm going to go over it very quickly because I didn't have very many trades today. I only had one. And we started with SGLY, but we didn't buy the pop here. So right at 7 a.m. as we sat down, we had a 7 a.m. pop, 5-minute bull flag, and pop through the 200 moving average. So I didn't take this trade because I was afraid of the stock rejecting off the 200 moving average, which was at 734. MACD was also still negative here at 7 a.m. as it popped. But it does a nice pop and a pullback right below the 200 moving average. That's 734. So I didn't take this micro pullback, but it ends up breaking the 200 and going all the way up to 850. So no trades on that, but it was our top leading gainer. In hindsight, maybe I should have taken it, thinking that it did have the potential to break through the 200 moving average. But no trades to start the day. And then we're just watching it for the consolidation here. I've been trying to learn trends and trend breaks. So right around this time, I draw a trend line and I adjust it a little bit. And there's 30 seconds left this 5-minute close, and we're forming an ABCD pattern on the 5-minute. So I'm thinking that if we break this trend line and make a new high on the 5-minute, that we could see a retest of high of day. So I adjust the trend line again for the most recent candle. And as we break the trend line, I take a position. Stop is just below the low of the trend line, about 745, and I stop out. So it is what it is. We took a stab. We're trying to learn how some additional setups work. And this looked okay to me. ABCD, the 5-minute first candle to make a new high. MACD was negative, but we're trying to get in these moves a little bit earlier so we can anticipate the moves back to the highs. It didn't work this time, but we're going to continue learning and studying this particular setup. This kind of wedge breakout setup. Now, after taking this loss with just 20 shares, very minor, minus $5 for the day, we pretty much sat and waited all day, and there wasn't anything fresh. We wanted something fresh that had news that was moving, ideally, to fit into our stock selection. Since we just had a couple of red days in a row, I didn't want to jump in on anything and get in more false breakouts. I wanted to stop the bleeding and just wait for A-quality setups. The only other thing we had today that moved pretty well was HUIZ, and I really didn't expect this to move the way that it did. Whoops, I ended up going all the way back to the front. All right, so there we go. So HUIZ started moving. I pulled it up around this time, right as it was breaking high of day. I noticed that it was moving up very quickly on the scanners. We're right at the highs at $2, doing a micro pullback. And this would have been the time to buy, if any. But I looked at the stock selection and I noticed that relative volume is lower. Why is relative volume lower? Because we're on the backside of a move from the previous day where it popped all the way up to 3 and rejected in it. And we have a little bit of a higher float, cheaper price, $2. I'm thinking this is going to be a grinder. High volume rejection on the previous day. And it's going to be a grinder moving up. So I don't really want to touch the stock. The news as well is just unaudited financial results. So I was thinking that it wasn't going to make a big move, but the market proved me wrong, clearly, because it breaks and goes all the way up to $4. I don't take any trades on it. It doesn't do any micro pullbacks. It just rips all the way up to 4. Now, one thing that I will have to consider in the future for a price that's moving this quickly is maybe to just jump in somewhere in between. If I notice that price is moving at a rapid rate of change. Even if I just buy 20 shares, I don't buy big size in case it reverses at the moment that I buy in. Sometimes there are cases where chasing is okay. And in the past, I've really gotten smoked for chasing, so I prefer to wait for pullbacks and have a plan for my stop. But it is something that I do need to consider for cases like this. Let's watch it back as it breaks $2, how quickly this actually ends up moving. So we change charts there. We do a little bit of stock selection browsing, and it starts moving from 2 to 230 to 240. And then as it breaks 250, this is really where it starts pulling away. 270, 275, 340, 390. So this stock really skyrocketed, and if I was watching the level 2, then maybe I would have noticed that it was moving at a very rapid rate of change, and I could have just punched it. I believe that's what Ross did as well when he explained his position in the recaps. It also did a 1-minute pullback here, but I didn't take a trade on it because we're very extended on the 5-minute, and I was worried about false breakouts. It ends up working, moving up to 4. But I kind of just thought that I missed the boat on this. I didn't take any trades. And throughout the rest of the day, there really weren't any actual fresh opportunities. Even HUIZ, when it first popped up, like it did have news, so it was technically a fresh opportunity. But the news came out at at 5 in the morning, and it had been consolidating all day. This wasn't like a fresh news catalyst popping right away. This was something that had shown prior weakness and had been consolidating for 3 hours, and also had a move on a previous day. So, but we didn't get anything else today, really. I mean, we got some cheaper penny stocks moving and stuff. We also had JZ. So this is today might have actually been a green day because I would have traded JZ, but my broker was acting weird today. Trade Zero was saying that it couldn't find the symbol for JZ. And I didn't realize that I needed to restart my broker. I simply thought that it just didn't allow me to trade the stock. Like I thought it was just restricted. Otherwise, I would have taken probably this bull flag pattern or this ABCD pattern for the squeeze from $3 all the way up to $4.50. It would have been a potentially green day on that trade. And I noticed right here when I looked at SGLY, even though I traded it earlier, that it also had the same problem, symbol not found. That's when I restarted my broker and then realized, yes, I could have traded JZ if I had just restarted my broker quickly, which is pretty frustrating. We end the day $5 in the red today. Probably would have been a green day today with my patience if I had been able to trade JZ, or if I had the guts to jump into HUIZ. But no point in crying over spilled milk. It is what it is. We have 4 red days this week, so let's hope that we come back tomorrow on Friday and have a decent finish to the week. It's pretty likely that this week's going to be a red week. That's pretty much a foregone conclusion unless we get some crazy blue sky setup tomorrow or something that'll give me a big win. But I'm not counting on it. We're just focusing right now on learning and adjusting the process for this current market that we're in and just trying to survive. But that's going to be it for me. It was just a quick recap. I'll be back at it again tomorrow, 7 a.m. Eastern time, as per usual. But until then, take care, stay green, and I'll see you next time.